you're the winemaker in a very particular winery. We're not in Napa. We're in California, but we're in the middle of Bel Air, Los Angeles.
Yes, we are.
So this is quite impressive proposition to have those vineyards here.
It's not what one would expect here.
No,
for sure.
no, and then you can when you drive up the street, you don't actually see it.
No, you don't.
No, and there's no sign. So it was. I've seen it, when I fly over or when I go to the Getty. When you take the train, you see the vineyards. But it's like now I'm in there. I feel it's a treat.
It is a hidden little gem. I've always wanted to bring somebody in here blindfolded, and then take the blindfold off and say, "Where are you?"
Should we start? Yeah.
But the vineyard is really interesting because it's really divided into three pieces geologically. Right now we're standing on the Benedict Canyon Fault,
Right.
which has been inactive for about 13,000 years.
Inactive.
Inactive. It has not moved.
Okay.
So for right now we're safe. But it runs through this little low spot here, and it's the perfect place for Sauvignon Blanc. We've got about 2 or 3 feet of topsoil here and about 20 feet of gravel underneath all of that. Mm-hmm. So it's very, very well drained. And because it's the low spot on the property, it's also a cold air drainage.
Right.
So the Sauvignon Blanc likes it here a lot. And the combination of those conditions let us retain the acidity of the grapes. And we pick this rather ripe, but we still have sparkling wine cuvee pHs when we pick. So it's a very, very different Sauvignon Blanc that's unlike anything that you've ever tasted.
And then to be clear, you only make 2 kinds of wines in the property. One
a red and a white.
And a white.
Yes, exactly.
And then, so the Sauvignon Blanc is 100% Sauvignon Blanc.
It is 100%.
And then I'm sure we'll see the grapes for the red, and the red is a mix of
the
sweet,
red is a blend.
Sweet,
yes.
Yeah, the blend of
yes.
Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc,
Merlot, and Petit Verdot.
Petit Verdot, yeah.
Yes. And everything on this side of the fault line, on the left side of the fault line here is all up. It's stuff that was churned up from between the plates, and so it's a conglomerate of a whole bunch of soil types. But everything over on this side, which is the majority of the reds, is all uplifted seabed. And so 1 million years ago, most of Los Angeles was underneath the ocean. When the Santa Monica Mountains formed, all of that was lifted up.
Right.
And it's full of shells and fossils and
Oh, you do see them when you...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Very, very, very high calcareous material in it. And the reason that we ended up planting grapes here is because the first owner of Moraga, Tom Jones, who was doing business in France, and he was going between France and California quite a bit, and thought that the soils that he was seeing in Bordeaux were similar to the soils here. Right. And that's what prompted him to
and
try
that was
to
back
grow
in,
some. This was back in the 1970s.
Right,
yeah. Yeah. And that
so
prompted
in the
him to...
Before he planted the grape, there were no grapes.
There was nothing but scrub brush.
And then he brought the vines from France, right?
The cuttings came from France.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like those pine trees over there.
Oh, they're beautiful, aren't they? Italian stone pines.
So how many cases a year? Is that something you can say?
Oh, sure. It's about 1,000 cases combined. It's 300 cases of Sauvignon Blanc. Okay. And then the red varies a little bit, and it's usually somewhere between 500 and 700 cases.
And then Mr. Murdoch kept saying, there's not a good year or a better year. There's different years.
There are different years, exactly. Yeah. Even though the weather here is a little more moderate than what we see in Northern California, we do have vintage differences.
And everything is made on the property.
Yeah, we'll take a little tour of the winery. One of the things that's quite different about this location is it never gets very hot here. We can go an entire year without ever hitting 100 degrees. And in Napa, you hit 100 degrees on a pretty regular basis.
Right, and then you have no issue with ice. It doesn't.
No, we don't get
freeze.
frost.
Yeah,
it doesn't freeze.
Yeah. That's a big issue in Napa. They have
it can be, yes.
Then you see what happened in Burgundy this year. They had to they had to fumigate
They got hit very, very hard. I feel bad for them.
Yes.
It's much easier to grow grapes here than it is to grow grapes in Burgundy. Right now, there's not much going on in the winery because we're aging everything in the cave right now.
Yeah.
But during fermentation, each one of these tanks will be full of must. They hold a little bit over a ton, and we like to keep all of the lots separate. And with this sort of setup, we can do it. And we don't have a gravity feed winery because we didn't build it on a hill, but we've got an anti-gravity device called a forklift. Mm-hmm. And when it's time to drain and press, we simply pick things up, drain the juice by gravity,
Right.
and then turn the tanks over and dump all of the pomace into our basket press. And so the winemaking is very, very simple, and it's very, very easy. We don't do any inoculations. Both the yeast and the malolactic bacteria are whatever's here. We've never inoculated anything, so it's all native.
And then you do the blend on the red, right?
Yeah. It's the objective with the red is always to make the best wine we can make, regardless of what the blend is. And sometimes we've got a lot more Merlot. Sometimes we've got
depending
a lot more Cabernet. Mm-hmm. It just depends.
Depends on the year, what happened with the weather and the rain.
We pick based on flavor. So I walk around the vineyard, and when things taste right and the tannins are perfect, that's when we pick. And because
hand-picked, hand-chosen, and hand-picked.
Everything. Yeah. Well, we don't have, everything's too steep for tractors, so we don't own a tractor.
And then spread out on 6 acres of land, right?
Yes. And when we make the picking decision, the first thing that happens is the vineyard crew will go out into the vineyard, and they will pull off anything that doesn't look perfect the day before we pick. And then the next morning, we'll pull all of this equipment over here. When we're picking, it lives in the corner over here.
Right.
And the first thing that happens is they go out and they pick, and then they bring the grapes back, and then we sort at the cluster level with the sorting belt. And then we've got a little device there called a latriere. And the latriere will sort out little tiny shot berries that never got ripe. It'll sort out raisins and extraneous ration things. And we put 6 people on either side, 4 people on either side of the belt, and then another 2 or 3 people on either side of the latriere.
So I'm assuming some areas of the property where the slope is that steep, the working on there is not that easy, right?
No, it is not. It's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Yeah, especially when it comes to cropping. Yeah.
So this is the cave. At the back there, we've got the 2015 vintage on the right. The 2016 vintage is on the left. And both of those vintages were very, very small for us. 2015 was small all over California, including Napa and Sonoma. It was also small here, as was the 2016 vintage. One of the things that was really interesting when we built the cave is we discovered that the ground temperature was warmer than we wanted. So I went to one of our tank manufacturers and asked them if they would build some plates for us that we can run glycol through. And it's just like the jackets on the tanks for temperature control. Only we use these in the cave as well.
So the cave is all that way, right?
Yeah.
And then the barrels are coming from?
Barrels are all French. When we first built this facility in 2005, we'd been making wine in Napa for many, many years. And when we moved everything to here, I didn't want to bring in any microorganisms from the winery in Napa or anywhere else. So we couldn't bring used barrels here. And in 2005, for the first time, we were 100% all new French oak. And that worked. And so ever since then, we've been 100% new barrels. And of course, all French oak.
But then you keep them, right?
No, we don't use them again.
Only one time?
Only one time, yeah.
So who is the lucky winner?
Whatever winery I can find that needs barrels.
Right.
So I've got a friend with a winery in Temecula right now who will be buying 30 used barrels from us.
So every year you start with scratch.
Yes, we start from scratch. And these we always buy more barrels than we need because I've got to order barrels in March.
Right.
And I have no idea what the crop level is going to be. And so all of these barrels that are out in the plastic here, these are brand new, but they've never been used.
They will be used.
Well, hopefully we will use them all this harvest.
Right. This, yes. And then so you age them for how long?
Anywhere from 18 to 22 months. Depends on the vintage. And it's also the spot in the vineyard with the highest amount of calcium in it, most calcareous material. And because of that, we use the rootstock and scion materials that they use at Chateau Petrus, because the soils there are similar to this little spot.
It's funny, on such a small property you get so many different type of soils.
It is.
On
It's
such
amazing.
small. And this is probably the most intellectual Merlot on the planet. There's the Getty in the background.
These are the original vines that were planted in 1985 on the property.
So they're the oldest on the property.
They are the oldest on the property.
And then
yes.
what wine?
Cabernet Sauvignon.